Howdy! Welcome to a new BagZCubed video. As I said in my community post, it is June, which also means it's mid-2023. That means it's time for the big BagZCubed music collection video, which is different than calling it a record collection video, and you'll see why. More on that later. You can probably guess immediately what I mean. So without further ado, let's get into this. As always, I keep my albums in protective outer sleeves. To save time, I will be removing them from those for this video. And starting off, the newest and also only new addition since 6 months ago to the David Bowie albums is Hunky Dory. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of David Bowie, the second David Bowie, which is the one he likes to talk about instead of his first one. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I thought it was okay. So, like with The Stranger by Billy Joel, I was a little bit hesitant on continuing, but I actually kind of liked Hunky Dory. It kind of lost me in the second half, but I thought it was a pretty good album. This is what I meant by calling it music collection. I'm also going to be covering my CDs as well, because I do be collecting those. Freddie Mercury, Mr. Bad Guy, I covered the vinyl in the first collection video, and my copy is busted, as you can see, but I do have extra spare CD cases to repair a broken case. But yeah, it's Mr. Bad Guy. Good golly. I would also like to add that also, very quickly, Lover of Life, Singer of Songs, the very best of Freddie Mercury, the compilation CD that was released in 2006. There's also a deluxe edition with a DVD, but I haven't really seen that one around. Also, I do have way more CDs. Well, I have a lot of CDs right now, but I do have more Queen-related CDs when I get to the Queen portion of the collection that, I don't currently have set up in my collection, and I'll explain a little bit more later. Next up is 72 Seasons by Metallica, both CD. I still have it sealed. I haven't opened it yet, nor have I listened to it on CD yet, but I did listen to the main album. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Metallica listener, but I did think it was pretty good. I'm not the biggest metalhead, I just kind of just a moderate listener, you know? Next up is obviously the Elvis Presley album collection that I made a video about, I think a little over a year or so. And, I got chastised for getting a couple things wrong about his albums because I was a new fan. I know a little bit more now. So if I was able to make a video on this, I would do a better job and not say something stupid like Kid Galahad is a ripoff of Raging Bull, which is a movie that came out many years later. Next up, I kind of forgot I had this, despite only listening to it around a week ago, is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. What is considered their best album. I thought it was alright. I thought it was interesting how I couldn't really tell when tracks ended and when they transition to the next track, but probably on more listens to it, I will enjoy it a little bit more. Anyway, back to Elvis, because I forgot I had the Pink Floyd one. I only have 3 new Elvis vinyl. I have encountered a couple other ones, but I did skip getting those for a little later, because they're still very common. Potluck with Elvis. Like I have said, listened to all of the CDs. Took me a little while to listen to all 60 albums. Well, almost 60, but you know, you get the drift. Then we have the, if you want to consider unfortunately named, Kissin' Cousins. Really weird movie title, but soundtrack is pretty good. For the one I obviously forgot that I had, thus why the price tag is still there, Golden Records 4. Must have forgotten that I had this. because the price tag is still on it, and I usually remove those, but you can see I paid $4 for it because Elvis albums are very cheap. Now we begin probably the biggest stretch of CDs for the video. The Prince CDs. This is For You, which is one of the ones that I covered in the first video. Oh, wow, that's reflective, and you can see how I'm recording this on the ground. Prince, his second album. I don't really have much to say other than what I've already said. Oh, look, you can see me again. If you notice the crack in the CD of Dirty Mind, I've literally only had this for maybe 2 weeks, and it's already cracked by literally doing nothing. Jewel cases are very delicate. Controversy. $19.99 with the I label that the vinyl also did. And the Purple Rain Deluxe Expanded Edition, which was the first time Prince, or the Prince estate, because I think this was released slightly after his death, or maybe before he died, because I think he was still alive to oversee a remastering of Purple Rain. This is the first time they've done a deluxe box set, and would slightly improve on the method of doing so for the future releases of box sets that they would do. That's why it has... Oh, wait, this is CD2, which is the single mixes and edits. Because normally now, when they release a special edition of an album, they do standard CD, single mixes and edits, vault tracks, and live CD. But for this one, they only gave that regard to the weak cardboard. But for that... But they only did that with this one. They only made a hyper special edition for the CD version. Because the only version of Purple Rain on vinyl, also this is Prince and the Revolution Live, one that they would also do again a couple years later. The Syracuse, New York, which I showed off previous video. To get my point across very quickly, this would be the basis for how they would do all the other Prince box sets, like 1999, Sign of the Times, except they only did that for the CD. There's no special edition Purple Rain vinyl that I know of, at least. It's a piece of wood that was in there for some reason. These are under my bed. But there's no special edition vinyl of 1999, of Purple Rain on vinyl. It's just the standard re-release. So for later special editions, they also gave that regard to vinyl as well. Around the World in a Day with a slightly creased manual. It was like that when I got it. Track listing on the back. Also, they didn't try to replicate the trifold cover like the vinyl, but they would give that to other albums later. You'll see what I mean. Or they would actually do that, making the vinyl like the CD. You get my point here. Sign of the Times, remastered on CD. This is a trifold with the 2 discs in these pouches, but you've already seen them from when also the manuals in this one, but you've already seen those from when I covered the box sets of Sign of the Times. Speaking of the box sets, this is the CD one that I covered a couple months back. And because it's right over here as well, I really need to get better shelving space in my room. I don't really have a lot of space as is. The vinyl box set. Also, fun fact, the Sign of the Times box set was voted by, I think, why am I thinking NPR? That's not even correct. It was voted the most generous musician box set released because of all the stuff it gives you, which is really saying something because this is a really good set. Love Sexy on CD. The Prince Estate also chose to keep this the one track thing where all 9 songs are just on one track instead of breaking them up into 9 separate tracks, because that's how Prince wanted this album to be listened to, as one complete thing. Also, apparently, a vinyl reissue has also been leaked, like Diamonds and Pearls and Love Symbol. Don't know when that's happening, but apparently it is. The Hits 1, which is Prince's first compilation album, and then The Hits 2, which actually, its case got broken when I dropped it. And we replaced the broken case with a new case, but the only issue that came from that is the little thing that snaps it in place is a little weak. Also, I never showed the inside of it. There you go. And then Prince's last album before he passed away in 1993. Yes, he passed away in a metaphorical sense. He abandoned his name. That's when he became the symbol. Come. Now, this is actually a different version. I sold my older copy because initial runs of the album, of this album, had the incorrect date listed on the spine and on the side as well. It's supposed to be like this one, 1958 to 1993, because this is a reprint because of the estate messing up royally on that. And same thing on here, if you can read that, 1958, 1993. But initial runnings had on the spine, including here as well, 1993 to 1953 to 1993, which is not correct because Prince was not born in 1953. So this was his last album as the name of Prince before he abandoned that to become the artist formerly known as Prince. It's a decent album. I like it. I'm biased for a lot of his stuff, but some people don't really like Come. Now we're back to the vinyl with the Versace Experience Prelude to Gold, which was a demo album released in conjunction with Versace, obviously, including edits, shorter versions of songs from the Gold Experience, stuff from the upcoming NPG album Exodus, little teasers for Madhouse 24, which I'm pretty sure never actually came out, and B-sides from the Hate Experience maxi single, stuff from Kama Sutra, and we also have the CD, which this was also re-released for Record Store Day in 2019 on its original format being cassette, which, if you can see that, I don't know why, but there's a weird little artifact thing on that part of the love symbol where it's, there's that. Don't know why, just is there. Also, crack for some reason. Don't know how that happened. But yeah, the Versace Experience. Who knows? Maybe if I get the cassette version, my collection will also include cassettes, but that's not my priority. Next we have Chaos and Disorder. Also, it's currently raining outside. And it might even storm. Thunder and lightning and stuff. So if you hear that, it's just rain. Chaos and Disorder, actually a pretty good album. But I don't know why it's considered, if you look up bad albums released by good artists, this one is on there, which is the biggest chunk of malarkey I've ever heard. This album is insanely good. Also, a weird little printing error on there, if you can see that. Maybe you can't see that. But it's a weird little line that looks like it should be more diagonal, but for some reason it's just printed on that little thing that says Chaos and Disorder. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Oh, very quickly, I'm a big idiot. I forgot the Gold Experience, which comes before Chaos and Disorder, being the first Prince album released as the artist formerly known as Prince, which is getting a different vinyl release, I think next week as I'm recording this, and I will, same with The Truth, even though they were already released as for Record Store Day, they're getting a wider commercial release, which is nice. Also, it means I saved on The Truth instead of having to buy it for almost double the price on eBay, so that's nice. I'll make a video on both of those simultaneously, not at the same time, but make 2 different videos and they'll be on the same day. You'll see that, what I mean. A little bit more on that Gold Experience thing later in the actual video, in like a week, I don't know. Next up is Emancipation. A lot of the recent Prince CD releases have been, or reissues, have been in little card sleeves. Oh, it stopped raining. It might rain again later. The weather's going to be a little bit finicky today. A lot of the recent Prince CD reissues have been in these card sleeves, which is alright, but I would say probably not the best choice for Emancipation. That's just orange. Probably not the best choice for Emancipation because it is 3 CDs, so maybe they could have stretched for doing, that's also just orange, for doing the plastic one that it was initially in. But who cares? I'm not the Prince estate. They'll do what they want. Like, debut some unreleased Prince music at the celebration of life, or his life, I think in a couple of days, like June 6th, I don't know. Ticket prices are insane. The most recent Prince album of new material that I hadn't listened to before, The Vault, Old Friends for Sale. You can see on the spine that it says, the Old Friends for Sale. Not the colon, but just the colon symbol. I had never listened to The Vault before, so I wasn't sure what I was going to be getting into. And I was pleasantly surprised. I think The Vault is a really good album. Of course, it was Warner Bros. Having to choose what songs they wanted to use. No, I think this was actually hand-curated by Prince, actually. So Prince actually curated these songs for the album from his vault, but it was a really good choice. A lot of these are bangers. Prince's last full album to be released as the artist was Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic. I say that with quotation marks because there's also Rave Into the Joy Fantastic, which is the companion album to this, but it's mostly the same album except with remixed tracks of Unto, except it's Into, Undisputed. So it's a little different, but almost mostly the same. Next we have Ultimate Rave, which is the collector's edition reissue of both Rave Unto and Into the Joy Fantastic on CD, as well as Rave Unto the Year 2000, which was a pay-per-view that Prince did to celebrate the year 2000. It also includes the final performance of 1999, because I think he said he was going to not perform it again after 1999, but he did. I'm pretty sure on the Welcome to America tour and just other tours in general. It was more of like a thematic retirement of the song, probably. He even performed the opening of it at the Super Bowl. That's Unto, which some people on the Prince Reddit, yes, I look at Reddit occasionally, said that Unto is a bad album. Well, it's not the best album. It has a very different sound than most people are used to when listening to Prince, but I can get behind it. You gotta know about Prince that he's all about experimentation and just doing different things. The Rainbow Children on CD, which was Prince's first album to be back under the name of Prince instead of the artist or the love symbol. Also, I was shocked to learn this, but I thought Rave Into the Joy Fantastic came out in the year 1999 as well. But no, it came out in the year 2001 before this album. Which shocks me that an album that is almost the same as Rave Unto being Into came out 2 years after the initial album came out. So I don't know if he was just cooking that album for 2 years to make this, but I guess he did. Also, the vinyl release, which there was also a special edition version that included a rainbow-colored slip mat and crystal clear vinyl. Also, Prince peeking at you from the spine. And sometimes the special edition, usually they're all crystal clear with stuff, but sometimes it might be a little hard to find the rainbow slip mat version. Oh wait, that's the one I bought. Haha, subverted expectations. I'm great at that. Yeah, it's the rainbow slip mat version, because nothing on the back, but haven't listened to the Rainbow Children yet. I will soon. Up All Night, the One Night Alone collection, which I just made a video on, which includes the albums One Night Alone, One Night Alone Live, and One Night Alone, the after show, It Ain't Over. And also Live at the Aladdin, the DVD. Musicology, which I have bought the vinyl for, but it's currently shipping to me, so that'll be either its own video eventually or in the year-end portion. But Prince's big, the most successful album he released in a while, Musicology. There's the other part of the trifold. And the vinyl actually recreates the trifold structure of this. And speaking of the vinyl, which I don't have yet, we actually found out in my house that we have an original copy of Musicology from 2004. Still sealed, because probably my dad bought it in 2004 because he saw it. But my dad buys things and sometimes doesn't listen to them. So this is almost 20 years old. I didn't really have to do that deep of math because it's almost 2024, which would make this album 10 years old. 20 years old. 3121, the follow-up to Musicology, which was a #1 hit. The vinyl recreates the gatefold with the inside being the actual picture of Prince's 3121 apartment, I think it was, that he was renting in California. Planet Earth on CD with the, I think, lenticular, whatever you call it, hologram. The hologram cover of Prince and the love symbol, and the not track listing on the back, because that's just a sticker. With the very basic insides, the picture of Prince, Planet Earth on the CD cover, and the credits. Very, 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 very standard CD. And before you can say, but BagZCubed, didn't you also have the vinyl of it? Yeah, I did. I do. Saying I did means I did have it and don't anymore. Anyway, I do have it. So it's just big CD version. That's pretty much all it is. Also, no title on the spine because it's recreating the CD. The last Prince album I have for now is, of the modern releases are Piano to Microphone 1983, which includes the CD, which has Prince's writing for 17 days on it. And there's the track listing on the back. It's white on gray, which can be hard to see sometimes. Well, not really, but, it goes with the territory. Why didn't I think of using my camera recording equipment as a little stand? This is going to be a long stretch of CDs, but this is Queen 40, Volume 1, which includes the first 5 Queen albums on it. And yes, I have listened to all of them. Ooh, yeah, I forgot. The CD versions also had an extra EP of music, which I have listened to all these around twice. Maybe a little bit more than twice. I've listened to a lot of them. And these also came with posters as well that are still in the box. Queen 2. The CD also replicated the black and white motif that the vinyl did for the box set, the entire box set, which I showed off in the first video. Now, I do have way more Queen CDs. Well, I have a lot to begin with, but I do have way more Queen CDs than I'm letting on with this video, but these are the ones I just scrounged together for this video because I thought I might as well just add these into the collection, if you will, because I don't think I do have a lot of Queen CDs, but for this video I decided, you know what, I'll just add in some of the other CDs I have lying around that I haven't put into the collection just yet because I just didn't choose to do them until now. So I do have a couple more Queen CDs, like I do have the Bohemian Rhapsody album, movie album CD. Also, just going back to see if I showed the back of Queen 2. If I didn't, it's my fault. If I already did, then whatever. So I do have the Bohemian Rhapsody CD album, but I just didn't show it off I just didn't put it in my collection just yet. I have to look for it and find it. So later, I'll probably just go back to the other CDs that I have and add them into my collection because I do have them. I just didn't feel like grabbing them right now to bring them into my bedroom to put into the CD pile, but the Queen 40 volumes are the best I could do. News the world. Case in point about how I didn't put these in my collection until today. I've actually had these albums for a couple of years. I just didn't set them under my bed in the CD collection, which, like I said, I have to find a better location for those, because I just didn't think about putting them in my collection just yet. And it was today when I decided that, and I'll try and find the other CDs later to put those in the collection. But right now, this is the best I'm going to do for right now. So, who knows, you'll get more later. Also, some of these cases are falling apart, specifically the Miracle, because doing collections in a CD case like this with a flimsy little ridge connecting the albums isn't the strongest thing to do, but gets the job done. Flash Gordon, an album I've listened to 3 times. When I say I've listened to these like 3 times, I listened to the CDs. Maybe I've listened to all these 4 times. I've listened to these albums a lot. Which some may consider an unholy amount of times to listen to the Flash Gordon album, but to that I say, whatever. I think one could consider the Batman album by Prince a very good soundtrack album for a movie. Also, it's not lazy of me to not be showing the spine on the back. It's literally just the same thing where they just put this on that side. So, whatever. The Works. Oh, silly me, I almost forgot. I almost wish that Queen would release a definitive version of a lot of their albums to give the complete flavor and zest of missing tracks or extended versions. Because if they can do that thing for Brian May's Starfleet album, which they're doing, it's even coming out in July, which if I feel like making a video on that, I'll pre-order the Super Ultimate Deluxe box set with all the trimmings and trappings in it, and I'll make a video on that. And if they can put in that much effort for Brian May and Starfleet, they can put in that much effort for all the other Queen albums and box sets and stuff. The Miracle, which I made a video on the collector's edition, and let me show you what I mean by some of these are falling apart. The Miracle. Yep. And the EP. And I might as well show this part again. Uh-oh. The little teaser tape CD that was in the Ultimate Edition of the Miracle box set. I haven't listened to it yet, because you don't really find CD players that can play 3-inch CDs. But a DVD player would work. Innuendo, the final Queen album that had Freddie Mercury alive. This one also is falling apart, I think. No, it isn't. And then you have everyone's favorite Stand from Stone Ocean, Made in Heaven. I still haven't gotten around to getting the alternate vinyl with the daytime cover and the nighttime inside, nor have I tried to get the one-disc version, which is a hot commodity because it's rare, and I'm a collector, so, you know. And then there's also the Platinum Collection, as usual, with Greatest Hits 1, 2, and 3. This one is also cracked, but it was like that when I got it. And I think the connection for Greatest Hits is not the best. It always seems to fall out on me, but it's fine. And then Greatest Hits 3 and the manual. It's not over yet. I forgot I had these. I just have a lot of stuff. Cool 30-minute video. Hooray. Elvis Presley single collection. It includes... I'll just take them all out. It includes just various singles and choices. Also, the covers are same on the front and back. Heartbreak Hotel, I Was the One, Any Way You Want Me, That's How We'll Be, and Love Me Tender. Are You Lonesome Tonight? I Gotta Know, Return to Sender, and Where Do You Come From? Cotton Eye Joe, Can't Help Falling in Love, Rockahula, All Shook Up, That's When Your Heartaches Begin, Loving You and Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear, Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel, Blue Suede Shoes and Tutti Frutti, In the Ghetto and Any Day Now. That's it for those. We also got some Prince singles. The Party Man / Cool live single, which was released in conjunction with Prince and Paris Saint-Germain. Welcome to America, backed with Dreamer / Welcome to America, which was released in conjunction with the final release of Welcome to America. And then Do Me Baby, backed with an etching, well, the demo, released in conjunction for the, not necessarily re-release, but they just found it in the Prince vault and were like, you know, we should release this. It's a nice song. And finally, Fragile by Yes, which, if you know any of the track listings from this album, there's Roundabout. And if you've seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you'll know that that famously features Roundabout. Therefore, I bought it. And if you've seen JoJolion, or read it, or know anything about it, you know that this album gets referenced in there, I think near the California King Bed arc, which is another reference, whatever. References. I liked it. Thought it was a good album. And that'll do it for this absurdly long video. Oh, wait, I forgot. The Rolling Stones in mono. If I was not feeling tired right now from just jumping all around and doing this, I would go way in depth and open up every album in this. I am not going to do that. I'm too tired. Complain about that in the comments all you want. But it includes all of these albums in order as you see them. Rolling Stones, 12 by 5. Number 2, Now, Out of Our Heads, US, UK. December's Children, Everybody's, Aftermath again, UK, US. Between the Buttons, UK, not US, because I think they're roughly the same. Flowers, Their Satanic Majesty's Request, Baker's Banquet, Let It Bleed, and Stray Cats. All of them are pretty good. I think I started liking them a little bit more at Out of Our Heads UK, and then I thought better of everything else post Out of Our Heads UK. These first 5, they were like, for me, but I liked the rest of them after that. It's when they started feeling more Stones-like to me. Anyhow, with that said, that'll do it for this video. I'm really tired, because I just talked a lot. So that'll do it. See you next time for more awesome videos.